Hello, everybody, and welcome to Feel Good Friday. It is the 1st of November, and it's a good day. Today is the Feast of All Saints in the church. We are celebrating with all those parents, God bless them, whose children ate way too much sugar last night from Halloween. May God be with you, and may you not kill them when trying to wrangle them to school and things like that. I wanted to talk today about something, it seems kind of silly, but I think it's kind of important. I want to talk about common courtesy. Now, I don't want to talk about common sense because I don't think there is such a thing as common sense anymore. I've discovered that with teenagers and young people, the things that seem like common sense to me as an old person don't anymore. So I don't want to talk about common sense because that's just depressing. And it's Feel Good Friday, so I would like to talk about something else. What I would like to talk about is common courtesy, and I think it's something we can all help other people to teach them. And it may seem ridiculous, and it may seem completely like, what is she doing? But I want to start with things like public washrooms. I don't know about the men, but I imagine you have stalls. I don't generally wander into men's washrooms in public places, although we are getting closer to having more unisex washrooms or non-gendered washrooms, which is awesome. Privacy is always a good thing, and if you gotta go, you gotta go, so who cares? The thing is, I've noticed, and it may seem silly, but when you have to go to the bathroom, especially when you really have to go to the bathroom, how often do we look when we get into the stall and we close the door and sit down? How often do we look before we close the door and sit down to see if there's actually toilet paper in those rolls or how accessible it might be? And now, I don't know about you, but where I am, I'm seeing more and more of those massive plastic toilet paper things that hold either these big toilet paper rolls that are like this big, they look like tires, or two smaller ones, and you have to, when one rolls out, you shove the little plastic thing aside and the other one drops out. You can use that. Well, something you can't see if there's actually any toilet paper left in some of them. And it's rather uncomfortable to realize that there's nothing there. And, unless you carry Kleenex with you, that's awkward, isn't it? Sometimes having to ask a total stranger if they can pass you some toilet paper under the stall wall. Well, sometimes you're lucky. There's somebody there who's willing to help you. However, one of the things about common courtesy I would like to, and I try to act on myself, is that part of that is even if there is toilet paper there, when it gets ripped off up inside the plastic, it's really hard to find where it starts to pull it out. So I try to remember to always pull it out and leave it hanging down below the plastic so that the person coming in can see that yes, indeed, there is toilet paper available for me, but I can also easily access it. And it takes no effort to pull it down far enough and rip it off below the plastic so that everybody can see that it's still there when you leave. Common courtesy. Now, I have not had to go into a men's washroom, but at the same time, if I needed to, and I'm at that age now when you gotta go, and I might just do that. If I walked in and it was a men's washroom and the toilet seat was up, and I put it down so I could use it, common courtesy would say, when in Rome, so I will put the toilet seat back up. Common courtesy. It's the same thing. I don't know about guys, but when we have the counters in women's washrooms, when you wash your hands, especially with those ones that you have to wave your hand or push the button and it goes everywhere, and you have no control over the actual water stream. But it's really easy to get water all over the counter because, of course, the hand dryers, because we seldom use paper towels anymore, are everywhere. They're 5 feet away from where the sink is. So you have to drip your way over to them. One of the things I've noticed is that some people will grab some of that toilet paper or Kleenex or where there is still paper towel, and they will wipe up the counter around their sink. So there's no water there. The number of times I have gotten my purse soaked by putting it down, or worse yet, a book that I was carrying. Not always. You see, common sense would have me say, Rachel, look and see is the counter wet. Put the purse on the floor, the book between your knees as you wash your hands. But as I said, common sense is gone. Common courtesy says to me, if I make a mess on the counter, I clean it up. It's as simple as that, right? What other common courtesies might there be? Common courtesy, if you have 30 items and you're in the 1 to 8 item line, don't go in that line. All you're doing is holding everything up for everybody else. If you're a big coupon user and it becomes an issue, go to a line where things are moving slowly. Take your time. If you have the patience to clip coupons, and find all those apps on your phone that get you a reduction in prices, then maybe you have the patience to be in a line that takes a little bit longer so that other people who are less patient can just get on with their day. Because it really is easier, I find, because I tend to be one of those slow people. It is easier to stand in line and just have a good conversation with someone while you're waiting as they put through their 30 items in the 9 or more item line. It is easier to have a conversation with them as you're taking time or they're taking time than it is to be the person who's holding up the line for somebody who only has one item and is really cranky with you and saying all kinds of nasty things. Because again, common sense would say, don't be nasty. Common courtesy would say, be patient. What other kinds of common courtesies might there be? When you are, for instance, go back to the bathroom issue. If you are in a washroom at a Tim Hortons or someplace like that, and it's fairly easy to find staff, and you realize that the bathroom is out of toilet paper or paper towel or something, just go and tell a staff person. It's not up to you to replace it. It's just they won't know necessarily unless you tell them. And that means that for the next person coming in, there are no awkward moments. Other common courtesies. Oh, this is a big one, and I'm guilty of this from time to time because I'm not paying attention. Again, common sense. If you're driving your car, pay attention. Not always using my common sense. Common courtesy. When you are pulling into a parking spot and you notice that you're beside a handicapped spot, particularly if it's got the lines in between, don't park on the lines, and don't park right up against the line of your slot if you're beside a handicapped slot. Park in the middle or over to the other side a little bit, because with people who are handicapped, that doesn't just mean they're using a cane and it's a bit awkward. Sometimes it does mean they have a wheelchair or a walker, and for them to be able to open their vehicle and use a lift to get into their vehicle or to be able to open it wide enough to put a walker inside means they need room beside their door and the car beside them. And when we crowd them out, we make a much more difficult situation for someone who's already going through a difficult situation. So common courtesy. Other common courtesies. Last night, Halloween, so you don't have to worry about this one for another year. But common courtesy, if you're not going to give out candy, turn off your lights, close your blinds and your drapes, and keep your TV, the blue glow of your TV, so people can't see it. So the kids don't even bother coming to your door. It's just nasty for kids when they come to a door and they ring the doorbell and nobody answers but the light is on. If you're not home or you're not going to give out candy, just don't make it look like you are. Common courtesy. What other things are common courtesy? Holding doors. And now that I have all this gray and white hair, and now that I'm getting old and being asked if I qualify for seniors discounts, I'm getting to the point where I'm tempted to say, yes, I do. I don't. I am only 53. And granted, some people start at 55, so Rob would qualify. But I'm not going to lie, even if it would save me 20% or whatever it might be on the first Tuesday of the month or however it works. But common courtesy would state that when someone asks you if you are a senior and get a senior discount, you don't snark at them. No, I'm not that old, because that just makes them feel uncomfortable. Common courtesy would say, well, thank you so much for asking me, but I don't actually qualify for that discount yet. That happened to me the other day at breakfast. Rob had already left, and the waitress said to me, do you and your husband qualify for the seniors discount? Because most of my regulars do. And I said, no, we're not there yet. She said, I didn't mean to make you sound like you were old. I just wanted to check. I didn't want to rip you off. I was kind. She was kind. We were both felt a little bit embarrassed, but it all worked out. Common courtesy. Holding doors for people. I have noticed through the years that my husband, he was trained well, he was raised well. He will run ahead and pull doors open. He will often hold the door for as many people are coming in. I've noticed lately, especially at places like malls and big stores, that the gentleman or the young person, male or female, will hold the door for the people they're with, but let it slam in the face of the person who's coming up behind them. Really, in the long run thing, unless you're back to the bathroom situation, like you really need to get into that Walmart and head for the facilities before you do anything else, Does it really take that much effort or mess up your time that badly to simply hold the door open? Although at Walmart, the doors are automatic opening. But you know what I mean. When you're going into a mall or something, you have to pull the door open. Does it really take that much effort for you to hold the door for the 2 or 3 people who might be hurrying across the street to get to the door? What would hurt? How does it hurt? Quite often I've found that when I hold the door, Rob does for someone else, then they go through before us, they'll stop and hold the door for us. It's not like you're going to lose your place in line. And if you do, it's only by one person, right? Common courtesy is something that we need to get better at. It is something we need to recognize and we need to share. Common sense, well, common sense used to be put a quarter in your shoes just in case you need to make a phone call. And at some point, common sense was, no, put a dime in there. And now it doesn't make any sense. You tell, here's a quarter, call someone who cares. The kids don't understand what that is because they all use cell phones. Common sense may have gone the way of the dodo bird, but common courtesy never should. I hope that you have a very courteous weekend, and I hope that everybody else will be courteous with you. I will be back for Gospel on the Go on Sunday, again using the gospel-based discipleship model of morning prayer. But I will be off then until December 1st because I will be in England. I leave for England on Tuesday, and I'm going to New Bishop School, and then I will be on some holidays, taking 3 days in London, England, and then coming home and having some holiday time before we get right back into it in December. So I will see you again on Sunday for Gospel on the Go, and on Monday, Sunday, December the 1st for Gospel on the Go, and then Monday the 2nd of December for Church at Home with Rachel. So please hang out, take a bit of a break with me, and watch previous episodes if you miss me, and I'll see you again in a month. God bless everybody.